Hi there and welcome back. It's Jeanette from the UK, Far Forest Ceramics. Sorry for a bit of an absence. I've just come back from a much anticipated and wonderful trip to Canada to visit our son and his wife Renee. We had a brilliant week, absolutely brilliant week. We also celebrated our 40th wedding anniversary while we were there and had a few days in Stowe, Vermont. And yeah, had an absolute blast. Also took the summer dinner service to our son and daughter-in-law that I'd made for them. And I took some photographs of it while we were using it, which I'll use in some social media posts, but I might insert that for you to have a little look what it looks like. But we had a great time. And I've got to admit, I think it's what we both needed, a mental switch from some very difficult months. Last 18 months have been very difficult for a variety of reasons, a lot I haven't shared, but then losing on Bali. And this trip has really helped us just reset, recharge, and yeah, feeling the family love as well, which has always been wonderful. So I've got the tiniest of teeny tiny kiln openings. There is only 6 pieces in here because they're tests. And I nearly didn't record this. I thought, oh, go on, I'll just record it. You never know, somebody might be interested to see. But when I did my last market, just before we went to Canada, I did some demonstrations and it was super, super hot. And I'd made some mugs and I wanted to try and use my Airpen on some pieces. So this is an example of one of the pieces that I made, and this is bisque. So I've done my own take on the Gnome mugs, and I've used the Airpen to do a beard. Some have got moustaches, and this was done in a different clay to the clay body, but they did have the same shrinkage rates. The reason I did it that way, I was too lazy and I didn't have time to make slip in this clay body, but I thought I'll give it a try. So I wanted to try lots of different techniques and in glazing. So I've tried 4 different options. I'll show those later. And the other thing that I made while I was at demonstrations was a new version of Luminaire using the Airpen, which I quite like that. And I'm looking to go for a creamy neutral glaze. I've tried 2 tests in the kiln. I've got a few more of these to glaze. And I thought, well, I'll just do a few tests. And it was really nice. I came back. Is anybody else the same? You come back from holiday and you're desperate to get in the studio. I unpacked the case, and the same day I was back, I went in the studio and popped some glaze on these. So nothing major exciting, but I thought I'd share it with you. Ooh. 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 Okay. I'm seeing the 2 trees first, and I'm not sure if I'm liking them. So what did I try? I tried 2 options. Mako Himalayan Salt, which is this one. I don't like the design of Airpen as much on this one as this design. So this was the last one I ended up doing, which I prefer. This, which is why I used it as a test, I wasn't so keen on, but I tried something different. But I'm trying to look at the glaze. Now this is Mako's Himalayan Salt. And I don't know, not really feeling it. It's a little bit matte for me. Not really liking the colours that are in there. But I like how the texture's showing through. So no, I don't want to repeat that one. And I've got one more, which, oh no. Okay, I wonder if you can guess what's happened. I used Spectrum Soft White. I only just managed to get hold of it. And I put 2 coats on, put it straight on the kiln shelf. Oh dear. I told you it was going to be a bit of a crazy one. Oh dear. Well, I've got some cleanup on my shelf to do there. Look at that. So, okay, I'll turn it round. Let's pretend we can't see that. So that is soft white, and I'm not sure if I like that. Again, this was part of a design that I tried, and I then changed it up for this one, which I prefer. Subtle changes. I'm still not liking it. So I might try one with, I've got Mako White Opal, which is a little bit where it grins through. I quite like that. I've got white gloss, but I don't fancy that. So I'm going to try some white opal. So to be honest, I'm not really liking either of these two effects. So 2 fails. It's a good job I didn't like the soft white because I've now got half of that stuck to my shelf. So the mugs, I've tried 4 things. I wanted to try nose unglazed and with stoneware clear. What do I prefer? I also did the mugs with different edges to see what was the easiest to be able to glaze to get nice sharp lines. So there's one I'm going to bring out that I like the most from the top. Oh, I like that. I like that. So this one actually had nostrils. The only one I did was nostrils. I didn't like it. But I actually quite like those. And I have, what have I done on this one? This is just stoneware clear. And I like that. You can see where there's a crack of the slip there, which it's not covering that. But I like the texture there. It feels quite nice. This I had just a rolled edge on and I waxed the bottom and under here because I wanted to keep this and this in the clay body. So this is a toasted clay, which I like how that's come out. And I do like the big thick lip. I do like that. And I did inside with the peppered plum. Now I really like that. And I like this with the stoneware clear. I do like that. I quite like the peppered plum. Okay, so then I did what? Oh no, I'm not as keen on that. Okay. So, okay, I did this one. They're all slightly different shapes. So on this one, this edge here, I've done a flat edge just to see was that easier to glaze. Actually, by putting wax underneath, it made no difference whatsoever. So I prefer the rolled edge on his hat to the flat edge. And then this was non-glossy nose. This was glossy nose. I prefer raw clay for the nose, I've got to be honest. And then on this one, put river birch on that one. I can see some of the brown flecks. Not really feeling that. Not the river birch. Nope. And I've just used stroke and coat on the outside, which was speckled jaded. That's quite nice. But I did a white liner. But I'm not liking this white liner with this clay body. So we've got creams and lovely toasty colours, and then we go to white. Maybe birch inside would have been nicer. But I thought it could be too much with this inside. What do you think? Should I do the inside the same as the outside, like I've done on this one? Or should I do a more creamy inside, maybe birch, which I think that could be quite nice. Okay. Then I don't like the colour of this from the top. Oh no. Oh dear. Okay, from a distance, but looking up close, this was 2 coats of Amico Tangelo and 2 coats of Amaryllis. But on this clay, I'm not digging that colour as much. It's almost too much of a muchness with the clay body. Again, the glazed nose, I'm not so keen on that. And on here, what did I do on the beards? The 4 beards, I did 1 Himalayan salt, 1 clear, 1 white gloss, and 1 river birch. So we've seen the clear, we've seen the river birch. I think this is white gloss. Possible. I'm still preferring the clear because I think the clear is better with this clay body. The white is almost too white. It's a little bit like putting white and cream together. Now on this one, I did a flat edge, but I actually ran a roller around the edge before I added it on, which, yeah, looks quite nice. But I prefer, again, the rolled edge. I did that inside and out, and I think that works. I just don't think this colour is working on this clay body, personally. And also, I needed to, the other problem I had was at the show, it was so hot. And whilst I've got damp boxes and I kept spraying them, it was quite hard to add the wetter clay to the clay body, and I kept it in a damp box for a long time afterwards, and I had fine cracks, and so I put my bisque fix there, but I'd only got my bisque fix made with the white granule clay, not this colour clay, and this is not hiding that. So can you see just there. There's no cracks, but I might re-glaze that hat into something a little bit more. It's got no oomph like this one. Can you tell I like this one? And then only one more. All right. Typical Christmas mug. And on here, raw clay, yes, like it. This is Himalayan salt. I don't know what about the matte. What do you think on the matte beard? And this is candy apple red, I think it was, for stroke and coat, inside and out. It feels like it needs a bit more interest on it. It seems very plain. But I have got some glazes coming in a couple of days. It's Saturday today, so I've got a couple of glazes coming, well, more than a couple of glazes on Monday, which might be quite nice for me to try on the mugs. So, yes, that was worth doing a test. I like this one. I quite like the Airpen work with the mugs as well. So, short, sweet, simple. Nothing super amazing, but just nice to get back in the studio. I'm going to start working on some Christmas stock. I'm going to do some limited runs of things. So like these Christmas Gnome mugs. Each mug also will have a different moustache, and they will each be christened with a name. Gustav. At my Far Forest Countryside show, some of the customers were actually giving me some names that I wrote down to christen some of them as well. So they're all going to have names. And I'm going to do some Christmas small run projects and try and build up some stock for some Christmas markets. And I also have to get stuff listed onto my website, because I do have a shop on my website, farforestceramics.com, as well as my workshops. And I just haven't put anything up there for a year and a half. So there is some stock still on there, but I haven't even advertised my website. I had it built. My son from Canada, Scott, he built it for me. And I haven't even advertised that I've got a website with a shop on there. So, by the way, I've got a website with a shop. I've got to do better than that. I'm not into this old advertising and sales. I just love the making. That's the fun of it. So, I'm going to leave you there, short and sweet. How many minutes have we done? Oh, 12 minutes. Perfect for us 6 items in the kiln. And one of them's broken, a massive big chunk, my poor kiln shelf. But I should hopefully be able to get some more videos coming out soon. I've got a few things in the pipeline that I'm working on completely different, but definitely to do with pottery, which you might be interested to hear about. And if you'd like to hear more, see more, kiln openings, my glaze alongs, work alongs, make alongs, and also what projects I've got in the pipeline, pottery related. If you can subscribe and just click the little notifications button to all. It's free, doesn't cost you a penny, but it really helps my channel. And it also means you'll get notified when I upload something new. So always appreciate your support, your encouragement. Yeah, I love our pottery community. And yeah, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.